Hello indie game fans, one of the standout events of the summer showcases was that of the Future Games show, which of course focuses on upcoming games, so the best picks of the show begins with Big Boy Boxing, a game that is essentially indie Punch-Out, which people have been asking for, so here you go. The awesome and exaggerated animations are the main highlight and looks fantastic, so get this game for a nostalgia hit. A curious looking title is Puzzle Core, in which you play as a freelance bicycle messenger, pulling off sick tricks like wall riding and grinding rails in order to deliver packages, with a weird and wacky world and characters, as well as a sick cel-shaded art style. This video is brought to you by Enter the Chronosphere, a game that is, mechanically, one of the most interesting that I have seen, since this is a roguelite title that blends both real-time action and turn-based tactics, not to mention the trippy, psychedelic visuals as well. You control a crew of misfit alien heroes who have the mission of disabling new uncharted chronospheres, which are colossal structures which are literally reality-destroying megastructures which consume time itself. This of course translates to a tremendous amount of variety in biomes, enemies, weapons, items and more in each run, which can be as varied as knives to sniper rifles, weaponized parasites and more as you battle everything from cowboys to alien fish. The game is technically grid-based, but does the interesting thing where time only moves when the player moves, so it is possible to maneuver your character to avoid enemy projectiles, but you do also have ample time to weigh your tactical options, resulting in a very unique strategic experience with nothing else quite like this available, so if interested, wishlist the game on Steam. I felt like I went back in time when I saw Nico de Rico The Magical World, since this sure looks like a classically designed mascot platformer in the vein of games like Crash Bandicoot or Rayman, mixing side-scrolling 2.5D action platformer action with action segments from a behind-the-back camera. It looks awesome in that Crash Bandicoot kind of way, down to the visual style and how the game looks, as well as the animations, character and enemy designs. So if you love games like this and are lamenting that the big studios don't make them like they used to, definitely keep an eye on this.
I know that you're worried about the war on the continent. But you are my people. And you will come to no harm.
He's not in any trouble. We just want to talk to him.
It is not often that we get stealth games, so every one of them is of interest, with the latest being Eric's Home: The Stolen Dream, a narrative-driven title in which our heroine searches for her brother that disappeared, and all is not as they seem since the police are after him as well. It takes place in the fictional Nordic city of Eric's Home, drawing upon early 1900s Scandinavia, in which her pursuit of her brother starts off a chain of catastrophic events. This isn't Assassin's Creed, so you're not hiding in the shadows and stabbing fools in the neck, but rather have to avoid detection through cover and stealth, as well as use of diversion tactics to draw guards away. And with the closure of Mimimi Games, who made the Shadow Tactics games, as well as Lindsay Works, who made the Aragami games, perhaps this developer will carry on the legacy of stealth games into the future. I've had Sonu Kuni on my watchlist for a little while now, since this game oozes style, being something like Japanese Hotline Miami and comes to us from a Japanese game developer and hip-hop crew Don Yasa Crew, so what's not to love? However, rather than just being a top-down title, there are also side-scrolling sections which might just be in the exploration portion. I'm not the biggest fan of the Wario Land style of platformer, but apparently many of you are, hence the success of Pizza Tower from last year, with Anton Blast looking to fill that gap in 2024. This is a super stylish looking pixel art platformer as well, in which our hero must use his hammer to smash his way through the level in order to get his booze back from Satan, then hitting the button at the end of the level to start the destruction and having to race back to the start of the level in reverse. There's an interesting swapping between foreground and background mechanic in this game, but simply looks like a solid entry overall, so look forward to this in November. A new announcement from the show is that of Dredge, the Iron Rig, the second expansion to the cosmic horror fishing adventure game that ranked pretty highly in my Game of the Year list last year, with this adding a new constructible location in the form of the Iron Rig. This is the property of the Iron Haven Corporation, a company that does not sound sinister at all in any way, where helping them unlocks new gear, items and equipment. This adds 2 to 5 hours of content and more than 50 new fish, and crucially can be accessed through the main game itself and is not post-ending DLC. So it's an interesting way to go about making DLC for a smash hit. Here's a title that you must know if you're a fan of action games, although the Relic First Guardian does unfortunately have quite the generic sounding title, being a grimdark action-adventure game that might just have a bit of Dark Souls inspiration in terms of vibes and design. But I don't see a stamina meter anywhere, so I don't think it's a Souls-like in the traditional sense. However, it does still look slickly put together and is another game that I will be keeping an eye on. An ambitious 2D Souls-like Metroidvania in development is Mandragora, getting a special spot with developer commentary, so here it is in full in case you missed the show.
Hi everyone, Alex here, Community Marketing Manager at Primal Game Studio. We're currently working on our most ambitious game to date, Mandragora. Mandragora is a 2.5D action RPG side-scroller with deep Metroidvania and Souls-like elements. We're currently working on fine-tuning the many features that will be available in the game, including epic boss fights and a branching talent tree.
Inquisitor, got supplies for your journey upstairs. You deserve better for what you did to that witch, but it's all we've got to spare.
In the full release, expect to find yourself immersed in a narrative crafted by industry legend Brian Mitsoda, known for his work on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, meet many characters all voiced by professional voice actors including Aisha Salim, known for her work on Overwatch, and find yourself whisked away into the world of Mandragora with a dark fantasy soundtrack composed by Christos Antonio, best known for his work as a member of Septic Flesh. 2024 is going to be a big year for us as we work towards releasing later this year alongside our new publishing partner, Knight's Peak. We look forward to bringing Mandragora to your PC and consoles and really hope you enjoy playing.
Another game for action fans is Eternal Strands, in which you are battling gigantic towering monsters in order to prevent the world from crumbling, and appears to be another high potential title. This is the product of a new, technically independent studio, Yellow Brick Games, founded by Ubisoft and BioWare veterans. Although they had enough funds to open 2 studios, one in Quebec and one in Montreal, so I'll leave it to you to determine if they are indie or not, in which this game has been in development for more than 4 years, and also made the news when they decided to self-publish after parting ways with Private Division. and based on trailer footage alone, looks very well made. I suppose it's Attack on Titan-like in nature since you are climbing up these creatures and aiming for the nape of the neck, and also has a reactive combat system with telekinesis thrown into the mix for even more potential interactions. Still, it looks like a massive gamble for this studio, so here's wishing them all the best. Unique and outstanding visuals are a surefire way to grab attention, and such is the case with Bogdan's Cross, tracing the journey of our hero from shepherd to legendary Templar Knight, being a side-scrolling action title with an amazing look. It does draw upon history of the Templar Knights and the Crusades in the medieval time period, fictionalized of course if the bare characters wasn't obvious enough, and the developers gave themselves enough leeway to tell a compelling tale. This is supposed to have an open world structure as well as combat, puzzles, secrets and collectibles, looking very ambitious, and I hope all comes together when it is done. One of the upcoming games that just has the it factor is Screenbound, a self-described 5D platformer which combines a 2D platformer in the handheld console that you hold, as well as a 3D platformer in which your character occupies space in the larger world. As such, it's a very weird, very trippy looking game since the 2D action on screen sees you doing things like picking up collectibles, jumping on moving platforms, and even attacking enemies, where this is just genius in concept, so let's see on their execution. Watch this video for more upcoming platformers.